So welcome back. It's been a little while since my last video, so I hope you enjoy this, and massive thank you to everybody who subscribed and been watching my videos while I've been away. And so for anyone new who isn't subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button and add a like and a comment. And I'm back with a new video, this time taking a look at the HiNu Gundam in real grade with the Hyper Mega Bazooka launcher. So this is everything you get with this. So we have, of course, the Hyper Mega Bazooka, the HiNu Gundam itself, as well as the accessories. So you get the rifle, there is the standard bazooka, you get a couple pairs of holding hands for the beam sabers, and these ones actually move up and down just to get some extra flexibility. You have your normal fist. We have the beam sabers in a nice blue. Then we also have the energy pack with the cable that attaches to the bazooka. So here we have the HiNu Gundam without its backpack and weapons. So let's just take a quick look. So starting off with the head, you have some quite reasonable movement up and down. Side to side movement is a bit restricted, with both the head being a bit more angular and a bit different shaped to the new Gundam, and also you have some restricting areas across by the neck. Then onto the shoulders. So here, these will fold out like we have in most of the others, just to give nice way of movement. Will lift up quite nicely, and on a separate joint for the actual shoulders themselves, and the arms will have your full movement all the way around, and nice elbow bend. On the wrists themselves, there is movement up, down, an additional movement here just to bring it a bit further up. And then if you want to expose the beam saber, pop this bit down and lift that out, and there is the beam saber tucked away. It's pretty much the same on the other side, except we have this nice sort of cannon here which extends out when you lift this out, just to expose the cannon more, and then that will just slide back in slightly there. On the chest, it has got quite a nice bit of movement, pretty much same as on the new Gundam. It will spin all the way around. You can then bring it forward quite a lot and then move it back all the way a lot, but it does look a bit silly when you do it this way. But for a more natural position, looks quite nice. As for the side skirts, they will move out nicely, fold and push around just to give extra visibility to the legs for added movement. Front will lift up nicely and can as well be pushed around to the side on their ball joint, and with a slight little pivot so you can move them out a bit more. Onto the back, fold out quite nicely, quite far. That should help to give a bit more movement to the back. And then there you have got a slight little gimmick on here, which just pops this out just like that. Doesn't really do too much for this, but it's always quite nice to have. Onto the legs, so if I keep these here for now. So with this out, the leg movement is quite reasonable. And then if I pull this out of the way, see, you can, without dropping it, you can get quite a bit more. Then move on to the knee bend. So you get a nice bit of separation. And look at it from this way. And then just fold it all the way back in again, and it all folds together again nicely. Onto the back of the legs, you got a little bit of a gimmick. So here, just put all this out and lift it out just to expose a little bit of the inside, and then you can lift this part of the thruster just to expose the thruster there, and then that all just pops back in. And then on the sides we have these sections here which just pop out, move out here. Just all helps just to add a little bit extra movement with the feet. So with the feet, move out, and then can actually move down because it's on two sort of pivot points. The actual foot bends and a little bit more. So that'll help just to give any sort of poses where you want the feet to be outstretched. And then you have movement which twists from off angle, which I find quite nice if you are doing some wide spread posing, and sometimes you don't want the foot just to angle parallel to the foot, you want it to have a bit more of a slightly off kilter angle. And now onto the backpack. So the backpack for this one I really enjoyed building. It's quite a nice simple build and gives you quite a bit of articulation as well. And I find it looks a little bit nicer than just having the funnels on the back like with the standard new Gundam. Okay, so start off with the thrusters in the middle. So here we have a couple little bits of movement. So let me just move these out of the way. So we have out, folds down, lift up, down, and that can go all the way up and then all the way back down again. So that can tuck away like this, and up, and back down. And we have the fuel tanks, which are nice movable, and you can move them out slightly just to give a little bit more movement across the ball joint. And the added bonus, these do help support the mobile suit with the backpack on when you're just standing it freely. Then with the binders holding the funnels, so this has movement all the way around and back down again, and then you have side to side. And then as you can see here, have the beam saber which pops out, so that comes down and then closes back in.
Can be a bit of a field to try and pull it out.
But if you've got some nails, you can just grasp at the sides and back in again. Onto the actual funnels and how they connect. So you'll see this moves out and in and adjusts the thruster here. The others have movement, but they don't adjust anything else. And then just to pop them off, clip them out, and they just fit nice snugly in. So the funnels themselves are the same, just with the recolouring. So these can just run quite nicely. Now on to some of the other accessories. So we'll start off with the shield. Quite a nice looking shield, same as you get, just with the recolouring and the slight change in the actual moulds themselves. And for this one, it's very nice and easy to equip. So you just have this peg here, which is on a small ball joint, and that will just fit into this hole here. Nicely like that. It's probably one of the most secure sort of fittings on one of these so far. There's no chance of it really popping off, and it may not have as wide a array of movement, but it's very secure and it's good enough for what you'll want to do with it. And here it is, equipped with its beam rifle. And here we go with equipped with the standard bazooka. And lastly, here we have with the beam saber equipped. Now when it comes to equipping the backpack, you have two ways of doing it. One with the action base and one without the action base. So without the action base, it is just simply, you have the hole at the back and you just push them together. And as I say, the fuel tank pods at the back are very useful in just helping to hold it up, especially with the backpack more facing outwards to the back. For this kit, it's always better to be using it with an action base. It just allows for so much more freedom of movement. So in order to do this, you'll just put this to one side, and on the back you will just, underneath that peg that you put the backpack into, you'll just push the base in, and then the backpack will then lock into the peg from the action base adapter and the hole from the HiNu Gundam. And here is the Hyper Mega Bazooka launcher. So this is massive. It is pretty much the largest gun I've seen on a real grade, and you can definitely tell. I'll do some comparisons shortly after. So let's just take a quick look around it. So here we have it. On the back here we have just the section here which is used for attaching it onto around the shoulder to give it a bit of support. But with this, it is so heavy that you will need to have an additional stand, which it does come with, luckily. Hand grip here, and then take a look at the other side. And on here, we do have the power supply for the launcher. Very simply made. Could definitely make it look a little bit nicer with a bit of paint. And there we have your normal standard cable that you get with most of these kits. I've tried not to move it around too much more than I've had to, just because the more you sort of move this around, the more unnatural it becomes, and you get kinks that you just can't really get out too easily. And for a bit of a comparison, I have the Bazooka from the Perfect Grade Unicorn Gundam, so just to show the difference between the two. You can see it's pretty much up there with the Perfect Grade size, although the Unicorn Bazooka does extend out a little bit more, so it's still a bit bigger. But when you look at them, the detailing on the real grade Hyper Mega Bazooka launcher is phenomenal for what you'd get. I wish they actually put that little bit extra more detail into the Perfect Grade Bazooka. And then while I've got the Bazooka as it is here, just take a look at it next to a Master Grade model. So I've just got the RX-78 Origin, and when you look at them, it shows off the size difference quite well. And even when you compare the HiNu Gundam, so just move this out of the way, the HiNu next to the RX-78, you can definitely see the size difference there, and just how much bigger the HiNu Gundam is. Okay, so now on to the main event as it is, and we'll be equipping the Hyper Mega Bazooka to the HiNu Gundam. So first thing, I'm just going to take the Bazooka and equip the hand. So hand just slots in just like with any other weapon, and then sandwiches. So this is where you're going to want to take your second base and just attach them together. You can get a bit of a pose going to start with, and then extend out the arm and remove the fist, and then we will start to position. Can be a fiddle when you're first doing this. And just locked in. I will just show it from the other way around, just so you can see how the shoulder is locked in. So there you can see it just locks around just to give that little bit of support, and you have the hand there locked in place. And then lastly, it'll just be attaching the cabling. So pop this in here. On the generator you have two different holes you can use. So I'll just pop it in the top hole to start with. Clip that into the base, and there you go. That is the Hyper Mega Bazooka launcher equipped onto the HiNu Gundam. So here you have this amazing kit. Just like the new Gundam, it is phenomenal to build and gives so much posability. It shows how far real grades have come once more. The Hyper Mega Bazooka itself was a really nice kit to build. Wasn't tricky at all, and it just went together nicely with some really good detailings, especially with the way the black plastic shows through the white to make it look like the bolts there are holding it all together. And the cabling going into the small bit of the generator is really nice. The only letdown is the generator could have had a little bit more detail just to make it stand out a bit more. But other than that, really well worth it. And if you want to actually give your HiNu Gundam a little bit extra, the Hyper Bazooka is definitely well worth it. Well, I really hope you've enjoyed this review. It's been a little while since my last upload, just been busy with life and everything else, but I'm hoping to get a few more things done coming up shortly. I do have the real grade God Gundam on its way, so I'll be putting a video up for that one once I've got it and built it. So until next time, bye.